Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is day 5 of Bowlmas. We're almost halfway through. We have a very special one today. We're taking a break from the FBS, taking a break from the NFL, going down to the division I like to call fake football. Matt's not here to defend it, but we have another Matt that played in what I call fake football, but that'll be the last time I call it fake football because I don't want you to beat me up the next time I see you. But we have Matt Fest, played at Lehigh, played at Duquesne. We're going to ask him about his time playing. We're going to get his thoughts on the current FCS playoffs, which are in the semis, by the way. We're going to do all that in a bit. But first, it's all presented by our friends at SeatGeek.
The weather may be getting cold late in the year, but the sports action is heating up. With the final stretch of the football season upon us and basketball season now here, the only place to go for the best tickets for each game is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast. And whether you're looking to sit courtside of the Sixers game, find a last-minute deal up in Section 400 for the Iron Bowl, or looking to just cheer on your alma mater in a preseason basketball tournament, SeatGeek's one-of-a-kind system helps you find the best deal for the best seats in the house. Use code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting.
All right, but yeah, like I said, we have our friend Matt Fest here. And Matt, we have a lot to discuss. But before we do any of that, you, sir, owe the Views from Section 400 company, I would say, a Waffle House challenge.
I do, yes. I still plan on completing that eventually.
How does that work out? Why does he owe us a Waffle House challenge?
Phillies
Well, yeah, he happens to be another Philly sports fan because we don't get enough of those around here. And we had to bring on Will because, of course, we did. But he bet myself that the Phillies would knock the Mets off in the playoffs. And we bet a Waffle House challenge on it.
How about that? I love to hear that. I would have loved it even more if Brian had to do it. Even though I was pulling for the Mets, I'm not going to lie. I wanted to see Brian happy for once. Dang, I really do wish that Brian was doing this Waffle House challenge. But, Matt, I'm looking forward to seeing you do it. I want to get some content out of that. Brian, you're going to have to go out there and support him.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to find – maybe it'll have to be an IHOP in Pennsylvania. I don't know how many Waffle Houses are around. But we'll find one, and over the holidays, we'll just have to sit in an IHOP and watch you eat pancakes.
I know there's one in Delaware, somewhere around there.
I don't know if we need to go to Delaware.
We're that committed to the bit here.
That's a whole lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a whole strategy, though. I think I can do 16, so I only spend 8 hours there.
That's not too bad. That's a nice day's work.
That's a solid amount of waffles and a solid amount of time in a Waffle House.
Yeah, 8 hours is still – that's nothing slight to spend in a Waffle House. You know?
You're putting in a whole shift.
It's like, yeah, that's a whole shift. You might see 3.5 fights while you're there. But while you eat those pancakes or waffles, I'm not sure which one we would have to – if we would have to regulate you to eat a certain kind of pastry, what are they called? Or cake? What is a waffle considered?
Like a breakfast
A waffle?
cake.
Yeah, but it has to be under a category,
Not
right?
a
Yeah, breakfast
cake.
All right, well, either way, we're getting off track here. We got a lot to get to today. But after you
Jesus.
eat all of those breakfast items, you might get back to the kind of weight you were at while you were playing. You played at Lehigh, you played at Duquesne, started 17 games during your time at both of those schools. And before that, we actually spent some time on the same offensive line. I called ourselves the best bookends in BAL history. I think you had about 99% to do with that. I maybe contributed 1%. But I'm sure you have your time playing on your resume. I'm sure you bring it up to people. How cool is it to just subtly drop? You know, I played college football for like 2.5 seasons as a starter, just in conversation.
Yeah, it comes in handy. Job interviews makes the time go by a lot quicker. Talk about that instead of the job. Home Depot, like you're in line for stuff and you're wearing a shirt and the guy, just small talk. It fills any conversation, really. There's not too many people that are opposed to some sort of college football.
Yeah, football is king. And I wish I could just tell them. I kind of hesitant to say I played high school football, especially when you look up New Hope Soulbury high school football.
Yeah,
It's hard.
400.
It's hard to call New Hope the trenches. But maybe you did kind of make it out of the hypothetical trenches in terms of getting out of that program into a college football program.
You
A
know,
little bit.
as far as football programs go, maybe you're coming out of the trenches, coming out of New Hope, but let's be clear, New Hope is not the trenches, Brian. You came from a nice area.
No, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at there. The trenches in terms of
Like
football.
Oh,
football.
Yeah,
situation.
you're not getting Florida States and Alabamas and Auburns to come recruit you up there in New Hope, are you?
Not quite.
No.
Like 35 kids on the whole team.
Yeah, and Matt, I know you scored a defensive touchdown, I believe, in the state playoffs, or was that an offensive touchdown?
Offensive touchdown. That was my senior night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, as fullback. You do have a Fox Sports receiving page for your time at Duquesne. Did you get a target in
No,
college?
I remember that was brought to my attention like maybe a year and a half ago, like towards the end of my second year at Duquesne, and I really have no idea where that came from, what came from that. But it is pretty cool because I'm listed as a wide receiver. And I was like,
Yeah.
Were you like eligible on a play, like receiver eligible on a play or something like that?
no, every single play I played there was at right guard. In between,
Not even
never
tackle.
the last
Yeah, I
man.
was gonna say not even like the
You can't
tackle.
report
Like
eligible
tackle
at
you
right
can
guard.
maybe understand it, but guard no.
No, never. Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. No JJ Watt scenarios though, unfortunately.
Well, maybe one day. And Jack, I'm happy you mentioned FSU because our guy Matt played against FSU.
Oh no shit.
Boys were weak.
But where are they? How'd that go?
48-7.
Okay. Yeah, you
Like a
guys,
7?
you guys beat the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, FSU ended up winning that one.
Yeah, I thought so. But what is it like, playing against a big time program like Florida State? Where did first of all, like where did you play them, and like what was that experience like? And then, how was the actual game speed and like the prep for that game? Is it any different than like I don't want to call it like a regular game, but like just a Florida State's not a regular game. That's like a big time game everybody gets excited for. But like, the average game compared to a big time program, what was that like?
Yeah, so we played them week 0 of 2022. So like August 24th, whatever that first weekend is, there's like 5 to 10 games on. So it was cool because we were in the spotlight just to begin with there being week 0. It ended up being a rain delay for like 2 hours. So it just took a lot of the air out of the team, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that it would have made a difference in the score, but just in terms of the whole game. But it was a cool experience. I mean, getting to see all the locker room. We do our walkthrough on the field the day before, see all the facilities. Cool town. Also, we did the same thing. TCU, I played against them in 2021. Kind of similar deal. In terms of the experience. But I mean, as far as like the players on the field, like they're just, they're the same level of, they just take the same dude that we played against in the FCS and just make them stronger, faster, better at football, more coordinated. Every single thing is just like that much better. That just makes such a world of a difference on the field. But the speed is the biggest difference. Just faster game.
Yeah, and I have to give you guys credit. I know you did lose by 40 points, but you held a defensive line with Jared Verse on it, who is in Rookie of the Year conversations right now in the NFL. Also, Amari Gaynor was an edge rusher. He's in the NFL with the Raiders right now. You held him to 1 sack.
Yeah.
Damn.
Part of that may be because they may not have played much, but I wasn't originally going to bring that up, but then I was like, maybe I'll throw it in. But no, Verse actually played at Albany also in the CAA, which is FCS, fake football. But he went Albany for a year, and then 2 or 3 years at Florida State. Now he's defense rookie of the year, front runner, or second, whatever.
I was just gonna say who else is competing with him for defensive rookie of the year?
Quinyon.
Yeah, Quinyon and
So-
Cooper DeJean.
He just moved in the first in the odds. Quinyon.
Yeah.
Like yesterday.
I think, yeah, it was this week.
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell, who we found out is the best player probably ever from Toledo in yesterday's episode, talking about Pitt, that Pitt Toledo game.
So
Yeah, he's a favorite, and Jared Verse is like right behind him. It's like neck and neck, basically.
Yeah, Verse has been the favorite all year, I think. Well, since after the first few games.
Yeah.
so when you played Florida State, was it in Tallahassee?
Yeah, yeah, it was cool. Yeah, they weren't coming up to Pittsburgh to play, but it was cool because like the horse came out before, like the whatever regular and the backup one that they have came out
Yeah,
before, like,
Renegade.
walking around. Yeah, so it was cool seeing all that stuff up close.
Did you get to spend any time on the strip after? Any time out in the town or?
No, no, we flew back out that night, like an hour and a half after the game. That was when remember that whole incident? Maybe you could throw the picture up with the kid in the red jersey. It was going all the way down.
Wait,
Oh gosh, I'm not describing this well. Do you remember? It was all over Twitter. It was like, "What's in the water at Duquesne?"
I don't know if I remember this.
It's sounding vaguely familiar.
It was just like a dude who looked like his jersey ended here and just went red all the way down.
I gotta look this up.
You remember? Basically, we took off, and right as we took off, this was seen and like it was going viral, and we landed or we took like we were in the air for 2 hours, and the kid just had no idea like where was this going. Has my family seen it? Like, do it? Is everyone back home seeing it? We have no Wi-Fi on the plane. He doesn't know how many texts he has, and we landed, and he was like. He was bugging out, but it was fine. He would just mess with him for a little bit about it. Yeah, you gotta find it though. It's awesome. The picture is hilarious.
Yeah, I gotta search for that. What, it's just completely red? Like he's just
Well, he has like the numbers up top, but it's like a white jersey up top, but we were wearing red pants and he has red leggings on and he's wearing a red undershirt and he like pulled his jersey up. So it was like a with like Ezekiel Elliott.
yeah. Okay.
Right.
He was wearing a red undershirt, so it was just like straight down. And oh, I gotta find it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find that one and post it up on here for some more context to this. But yeah, I guess we can get into the FCS playoffs here because I know you've been locked into these. We've been talking about it. I forget what game was on last Friday, but I wanted to bet on it, so I asked you for your opinion. And I think you said the over, and the over is smash. So I appreciate you for that. You played one game. I don't know if you were on the field, but you had one playoff game your freshman year against Stony Brook. Go ahead.
I didn't. So my freshman year, I didn't travel, so I wasn't really, I didn't get that experience of like a playoff game, so to speak. But it was cool because we got the automatic qualifier or whatever it's called for the automatic bid or whatever for the Patriot League to go to the playoffs, which is weird because we were 5-6 on the year, but we were 5-1 in the league, and we'd got tiebreakers. We made it over 8-3 Colgate because of the tiebreaker.
I'm sure they weren't happy about that.
Yeah, the whole FCS, like all 120 fans worldwide, were not happy about it because 5-6 team was making the playoffs, but.
I mean, that happens in March Madness all the time. You see these small schools that go under 500.
Yeah, and it's been a thing every year. And like a year like this, like where Lehigh wins a playoff game, like that wouldn't happen without the automatic bid. So it is cool. Some stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish the college football playoff did more of that. I know now you have the worst, I guess they call it group of 5 champion, get an automatic bid. But I wish we saw I don't know. And Jack, I know you're going to disagree with me because of the whole SEC not getting in, but I don't know. I would like to see maybe a JMU or whoever wins that kind of conference get a bid too. Give me multiple mid-major teams getting in there.
I'm not there with you, Brian. You want
Or
me?
you know what? We're
gonna
gonna
do this right now.
We're gonna get into this in a bit, but I believe there's too many Dakotas in these playoffs. But is it South Dakota State that's won 2 in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the FCS champion, give them a spot in the CFP.
That would be sick, but the FCS championship game's not until January 9th or something. But they could totally change that because
Yeah, just start a little earlier.
isn't this the semis now, right?
Yeah, the semis will be on the same day as the college football playoff, which maybe that's an oversight by the FCS. But
Yeah, the FCS they do that a lot. Eventually, they'll do like Sunday games in the middle, or I think maybe it's this weekend. They have one Saturday, one Sunday, or whatever. It's like always during the NFL, and now it's going to be during the college football playoff, and they can't plan
and
it
the
out.
NFL, we got
Yeah,
two NFL games that day.
there's no like emphasis by the NCAA to like get eyes on the FCS football, which is like I mean, they don't make much money from it, so it's not like from a business perspective they should, but.
Yeah, I mean, you still have these guys like Trey Lance, Carson Wentz have come from FCS schools lately. Like you would think they want to get some eyeballs on there.
Bill Belichick, his first recruit at UNC was Holy Cross's center.
Well, there you
And I
go.
It's so Bill Belichick to start with a center.
isn't that
Very-
Holy Cross, like the middle of nowhere, New England? Yeah, he I think what he's gonna do is turn it into like an NFL pipeline, and you could see maybe an FCS school turning into like a FBS pipeline eventually with how like NIL's moving.
True. Yeah, I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. You get like it could be like a minor league system.
Yeah, it's almost like a farm system.
Might be a way to do it there. But yeah, while we're on the topic, might as well preview these games. We got undefeated Montana State taking on the first of our three Dakota represented schools, South Dakota. Montana State, that is, there's another Montana school that's not as good. They beat Idaho, who did beat Lehigh. I'm sure you were very upset about that one. South Dakota beat UC Davis. A lot of these just schools I'm remembering from March Madness of the past, and makes me happy to look at all these games. But they did meet once before in program history. South Dakota did win that game 37-18 in 2008. But yeah, no, this is the first ever semifinal appearance for South Dakota. Montana hasn't won the title since '84, but they did make the championship in 2001. Montana has the Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year, Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year, and the Big Sky Freshman Player of the Year. Matt, do you see any way Montana State doesn't get back to the championship game again?
I think South Dakota is going to win this game.
Starting off hot here.
Yeah, I think just the way that they can run the ball and control the game, and like first of all, these games that these four teams that we're about to talk about, it will be the best football that you, if you're a football purist, the best football you could watch this weekend will be those four games. These are just dudes that love to play football and will just bang their heads every play. But yeah, I think South Dakota is going to win this. I think the way that they run the ball, and I think their defense gives them just a little bit of an edge. I've watched that quarterback Tommy Mellett play for Montana State, and I really just don't think that he's. I think he has a run game that kind of supports him, kind of like Jalen Hurts type of deal, taking shots at my own team. But.
Yeah, they had this, I guess his name is Scooter Humphrey. Their running back. He had a big year. He had almost 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. And I mean, Tommy was good, but like
the top 5 for rushing in the FCS, as is South Dakota State also.
Yeah, that's probably why you're big on these teams too, because I know you love, just like Jack, you love a team that can run the damn ball.
Dude, get the big guys out in front, clear some space, and let that running back go to work, man. That's football at its purest right there.
2 running backs with a combined 33 touchdowns on the year.
Yeah,
and that's just rushing.
I think they have these 4 teams are like 4 of the top 5 scoring offenses. They're like all like 38 points a game and higher. It's so crazy.
Yeah,
and they all run.
I think the lowest was South Dakota. It was like 37.4.
Yeah.
And Montana was 41. So these are going to be some fun games. I hope I didn't check it. I should have, but I know all the games up before this were ESPN Plus, and I really hope that they got at least ESPNU or maybe even 2 for these games.
It should be. Yeah, I think the way the FCS playoff works, I think it's all ESPN Plus. And then I actually think the championship game might be on ABC or ESPN, but
like they use ESPNU for like these terrible Big Ten, SEC college basketball matinees. Like you can't move one of those for FCS playoffs. All right, well you have South Dakota, so you have an upset in the first game. Then we go to the Battle of the Dakotas again. So we will have a full Dakota championship game here. Do we have a full South Dakota championship game here? It's number 2 North Dakota State taking on number 3 South Dakota State. We mentioned South Dakota State earlier, the 2-time defending champion. They did lose to North Dakota State this season, though. North Dakota State, they've been a dynasty. They haven't won since 21, but that's their longest drought since their first championship in 2011. Again, both these teams can score. Both these teams can run the ball. And they're both young. North Dakota State had the freshman and newcomer of the year in their running back, Shamar Brown, over 1,000 yards, almost 1,114 touchdowns. So this one might be a little more difficult to predict, Matt. Do you have a lean here?
So I think between the revenge factor of losing in the regular season and then South Dakota State's quarterback, Gronowski, he has been there since, I think, before COVID, maybe. So the experience that he has, I think it's things like that like he's won 2 championships. Things like that can take a team over the edge in the playoffs. Not that North Dakota State hasn't been there. They've been there and they've done that, but the revenge component, the experience from Gronowski, and then the whole idea of a South Dakota Bowl for the FCS championship.
How could you not tune in?
Yeah. These dudes are going to be banging heads for 2.5 hours. I can't wait.
What are they feeding those kids in the Dakotas that all these schools have just become an FCS dynasty?
Something about the clean air over there. Clean air, clean water.
Yeah, I guess so. You got Mount Rushmore sitting over there too. Imagine a Dakota Bowl and they move a football field in front of Mount Rushmore. That's how you get eyes
Happy.
on the FCS.
That'd be pretty cool.
All right, well, we might as well predict the champion. South Dakota State taking on South Dakota for bragging rights, and if South Dakota can get a three-peat, who is taking home the FCS championship?
I think we see a three-peat. I think South Dakota State, again, that experience is just too good. Crazy things can happen, but experience and talent, and then just gritty dudes trump other things. So.
I don't hate that.
I'm really happy you said that, Matt, because I'm not going to lie. I don't know too much about the FCS football world, but after, reading into it today and looking at some of these players, what they've done this season, I got to say, I'm riding Mark Gronkowski and Andre Johnson to an FCS championship over here. 2 of the best to ever do it, and I'm ready for South Dakota State to win another one.
Yeah, that's a good call. Mark Gronkowski and Andre Johnson. We need to find their number 1 receiver and see if we can make a punt on his name too.
South Dakota State is plus 175 to lock it up. The whole championship.
Ooh, okay.
I
don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
And I believe these games start at 1 p.m., so they should still be the same odds when this gets released. So
throw it on a little computer down here, Brian, while the other games are going on.
One's at noon, one's at 3.
Which one's the noon game? Is that Montana State?
South Dakota, North Dakota.
Oh, so they're starting it off with the 2-3.
Yeah, then South Dakota, Montana State's at 3:30. It says ABC, ESPN Plus, but I'm not sure if it's just if it's ABC and ESPN Plus, or if it's just that ESPN Plus.
Maybe it's like if it's.
I know they always do that now because it's like a merge between the two or whatever.
Yeah, maybe if you're located in the Dakotas, since it's technically
Yeah, on national TV.
Yeah, but I think they put the Chiefs in. No, Chiefs Steelers is Christmas, but whatever Chiefs Texans, they'll put that on ABC, I think.
Well, this is on Saturday.
Yeah, those games are Saturday too.
Yeah, this you could conflicting with one of the college football games, playoff games.
Yeah, it's gonna be Saturday's gonna be a great football day, and that's why we have to move up Bowlmas, because we have to get all these previews in here. Last year we had Bowlmas almost at Christmas, and now we're not even at Christmas, and we're about to have the best day of football of the year.
Yep.
And I wasn't even expecting to really enjoy these FCS playoff games, but I mean, Matt's convinced me. I think these might be the best games of the day.
Yeah, Matt's really convinced me to tune in for these games. I mean, you guys did a good job. If this is going to be some hard hitting football, people just getting after it, I mean, I'm all for it. Let's do it. I'm so sick of the showboating and the disrespecting the fields and this and that. I just want to see some good, hard hitting, clean football.
What was it last week? I think it was the South Dakota UC Davis game. That was the crazy one. I think that game was like 42-38 or something like that.
Yeah, I forget which one, but yeah, there's last year there was a game I think that was like 63-58. It was the final in like the semifinals. It was like Incarnate Word and someone else. But yeah, there's always some crazy games, especially when they just run the ball the way they do. They have like four plays and they just run them from every formation and every motion and every personnel grouping and just Brian, listen, max volume. 'Cause there's not a whole lot of fans there, so you hear the bangs.
North Dakota State versus
I
Appalachian
like that.
Christian was 51-31.
I'm happy you brought up Encarte Word. Is that how you pronounce it? I always get it wrong. But they have or they had, he's now in the transfer portal, but former Auburn Tiger. Never saw the field as an Auburn Tiger, but he was dressed as an Auburn Tiger. Zach Caldanza. I'm interested if you had any thoughts on him and how if you think he'll be good in his return to. I'm guessing he's going to try to return to FBS football.
Who was it? I don't know if I've heard of it.
Zach Caldanza. He had 35 touchdowns this year for the Red Hawks.
Oh, no, dang.
Yeah, is it Calzada or
Calzada. I get it wrong every time I say it.
This is their quarterback. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they always air it out. So I would imagine that if he had a pretty good year, that he can bounce back and at least get onto a good team. But I mean, from there, it just depends if he's coachable and has like the natural talent to
Yeah, this will
develop.
be his 7th season of college football.
Oh, he's that guy. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm well aware. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
He needs to get in the classroom and get
an
ready to
education.
do that job.
yeah, I feel like that would definitely be the way to go if I were him. But I mean, maybe he still has dreams of playing in the league. If Tim Boyle can get starts for the New York Giants in the league, I think anyone can play in the NFL.
How is he still playing? The fact that oh my God, so aggravating.
Yeah, but before we get off of the FCS here, and Matt, I want to get your prediction on the college football playoff, and maybe I'll let you talk about your Eagles for a little bit because we just seemingly have to let everyone talk about how good the Philadelphia Eagles are. But you did play Villanova a couple times, and I know Matt Cullen's not here, but for the sake of him and for the sake of his father, how hard was it to play against Villanova, and how cool was it to play against Villanova?
Yeah, that was a tough one because that was like our regional rivalry besides Lafayette, I guess. But yeah, we my freshman year we came very close. It was 38-35. We were both top 20 teams in the country. My first game actually as a college football player. But we could never get it done against them. That's one that burns. I got all my records in my head: 2-1 against Bucknell, 2-1 against Loft. All my records, and 0-3 against Nova. And not fun to have to hear that one. They haven't beaten them since 2006.
Wow.
And they play every year, I think, week 1, or maybe it's not every year. Maybe it's been 15 of 20 or something. So.
Well, I think all that tells me is you're going to have to get back into coaching at some point and win against Villanova to not only get your first win against Nova, but go 5-5 against the Pennsylvania schools in your career.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'm in.
For those programs listening, get this man on your coaching staff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll transition into the college football playoff here. We've had guests from Indiana on. We've had a couple guests from Penn State on. They all seem to think their program is going to win the college football playoff. And I know offline before the show, we talked about your pick here, and it may surprise some people because it's not so chalky. So give me your bracket. Give me your championship game. and give me your champion.
Okay. So I'll say Penn State I have winning in the first round. I have Notre Dame losing, so that would be Indiana winning. I got Ohio State, and then those bottom four teams or bottom three teams, Clemson, Texas, and Arizona State aren't winning anything. Um, but so then we got Ohio State and Oregon. I think Ohio State's gonna upside. I just think it's so hard to beat the same team twice in a year when it's that high level of talent and coaching and competition. So I think that's rough. I think Penn State versus SMU is just Jimmy's and Joe's versus X's and O's. I mean, Penn State just has the dudes that SMU just can't match up against. So I have Penn State actually getting to the semis and losing to Georgia. And then I have Ohio State beating Texas. So then I have Ohio State, Georgia, and Ohio State winning the national championship. Unfortunately, that pains me to say, but
Wow. So you got, I mean, but listen to that. What an impressive resume that would be for them to go beat Tennessee, Oregon, Texas. Is that how that works? Oregon, Texas, and Georgia?
Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, Georgia, yeah.
Damn. That would be a hell of a run and a very deserving national championship if they're able to pull that off. I'll give that to them.
Yeah, hell of a championship DVD too.
Hell of a
Do
what?
those 4 games, the championship DVDs they do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but actually, our Penn State guys did say, I think Tim was the most confident out of all of them, but they did all have the Nittany Lions losing to Georgia. So you're actually in the same boat as them there. And Zach Myers will be very happy. He had Indiana winning in the first round. I think he also has them beating the next team, whoever they're playing. But look at us. We're an Indiana podcast, I guess.
Georgia. That would be Georgia beating or losing to Indiana next.
Oh, yeah.
That I can't see that happening.
I don't think that has any shot of happening. But while we're on the topic of Indiana, we have South Carolina tomorrow. I know Jack's thoughts about South Carolina, and I have a feeling I'm going to know our guest thoughts about South Carolina. But Matt, did you kind of feel like they were slated from the college football playoff?
Not particularly. I think we got the teams that are in. I'm happy to see. I know Jack feels some type of way about the SEC bias, and I do think the SEC is the best conference by far, and I think Alabama, South Carolina probably beat 10 out of these 12 teams, or 8 out of these 12 teams, but just the way it shook out, I guess.
You know what? And I'm so fine with you saying that. As long as you can admit that South Carolina or Alabama would beat just about every single one of these teams in here, I don't care. I don't care. We just have to acknowledge that they didn't put the best 12 teams in.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, but I mean, they also could have just won an extra game and then they would be in. So it's kind of their fault in my eye. That's how I kind of look at it.
Yeah, I think that's the correct way to look at it. And, Jack, I'll stop picking on you until tomorrow, because I know tomorrow we're recording our South Carolina show, and it's going to be a lot of emotions running high in that one.
I told you, Brian, you're not even going to have to defend yourself against me. It's going to be the other 2 South Carolina alumni that are even coming at your neck.
Yeah, I really hope we have our Matt back for that one, so it's not just me getting 3-on-1 that whole time.
Yeah, we'll put you on the couch. Don't worry.
But before we end here, and thank you again for coming on, Matt. This has been a lot of fun. But I'll let you talk about your Birds. Do you think this team is going to the Super Bowl, and is this team winning the Super Bowl?
Man, if they can get a first round bye, I don't see how they don't. Because I don't see them losing in January at home. And
all these Birds fans, Jack, every single one of them are just saying the same exact thing. And
2 games, and they're playing in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Look, man, especially after what we just saw this past week with them beating the Steelers and the Lions falling to the Bills. I mean, Philly looks like they might be primed for that number 1 overall seed in the NFC.
Yeah, and I guess, Will, we can ask you for your opinion too, since you haven't really talked to people in a while here. I know we'll have you on some live shows soon, but you've been working hard behind the scenes. So give us your take on if this Eagles team can win the Super Bowl.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, they're tied with Detroit. They need Detroit, which I mean, their schedule's not like easy, but they have to play, I think it was Chicago, San Fran, and Minnesota. That Minnesota game can be a complete toss-up, so who knows? Um, but I think if they get in bye, like they have a really good shot at it. They really do. Even if they don't get a bye, I still think because the NFC is still pretty tough, but I feel like besides the Eagles, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers, maybe Tampa. Obviously, Tampa's still decent, but they're not like I don't know. Sometimes they play good, and sometimes they play like trash one week. It's bizarre with Tampa, and also too just I can't stand Tampa.
Baker Mayfield's also the kind of a villain, thorn in the Eagles' side. So I don't know if you want to play the Bucks in the playoffs here.
As long as we don't play them on the road in Tampa.
Yeah,
Three,
that could be a problem.
three Tampa loss. No, it'd be like four Tampa losses, and two of them are in the playoffs, and it'd be so brutal.
Yeah. All right. Well, Matt,
Give us Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota too. You never know.
No, we destroy them in the playoffs every year.
Well,
Every time we play them.
maybe Sam Darnold's a little bit better than Case Keenum. You never know. But Matt, last question for you. Hypothetical, neutral field. Who wins in a fight? A Mountain Hawk or a Duke?
Whoa. Well, oh gosh, Mountain Hawks aren't even a real thing, so I'm gonna go with them.
All right. That's fair.
What was it, a Mountain Hawk or a Duke?
Not
Yeah.
prepared for that question.
Lehigh's mascot versus Duquesne's mascot.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
I gotta go with a Mountain Hawk, though, dude. For
Sounds
sure.
scary.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what a Duke is gonna do.
Sentence
Is
it to life in prison, maybe.
Yeah.
Isn't a Duke a dog?
No, it's like a prince.
Yeah.
Oh, like that. Okay.
What?
I thought like the JMU like Dukes were like dogs, bro.
No, but the dog has the crown.
So it's like a prince dog?
Well, they just made it that way.
All right, whatever.
JMU just wants to be different.
Of course they do.
And they have a highway splitting their campus in half. That school has a bunch of issues. I think they actually play on the day this is getting released. Does JMU cover against
We're really going down the hole
Jacksonville
here
State? Jacksonville State, I believe.
now.
I like JMU. I played against their coaches and staff now, and some of my former Lehigh coaches are on their staff now. So I'm impartial to them. So yeah, I'm gonna ride with JMU.
It's
I'm gonna
Western-
ride JMU too. They've
Western
been a
Kentucky, Brian.
good program.
yeah. I got the red teams wrong. Yeah, we'll have Dylan, our friend from JMU, who kicked off Bowlmas in 2023. He'll be on later in the week here. But yeah, I'll take JMU 6.5. Why not? Will, you want to squad ride JMU?
Yeah, might as well, I guess.
All right. Well,
All
yeah,
I
I
could
guess.
think- All I could think of with JMU is that one game this year where they won like 70-55 against UNC.
Yeah, that was crazy too. Matt, where was the coaching staff before JMU?
Holy Cross.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
And they brought a bunch of players also, so played against a bunch of them.
Yeah, they've been a good program for a couple years now. I know I don't know too much FCS, but I do know that.
Yeah, you know Patriot League. You had your buddy Max played some basketball at.
I know Patriot League basketball, not football.
But yeah, I guess on the topic of Mountain Hawks and Dukes, that's kind of where we can end it for today. Matt, thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun. Will, thank you for coming on, subbing in here for Matt, who will hopefully be back. Will definitely be back for tomorrow's Bowlmas episode. We'll hopefully be back for our time traveling sake tomorrow to record. But yeah, from all of us, thank you for tuning in for day 5 of Bowlmas. Tomorrow, day 6, a familiar guest, Mr. Alex Young, to talk some Miami. I don't know if he's going to be too happy about his Hurricanes. You're going to have to tune in and see. But this was Views from Texas 400, day 5. Thank you again for Matt for coming on. See you tomorrow for day 6.